Hey, what's up, guys? It is Thursday, November 8th, 2018, as I do this video. This video has been a few days in the making. Since I've been doing videos on YouTube, one of the main subjects, if not the main subject, has been the clean boxing program, random year-round drug testing in boxing, and Errol Spence, and how Errol Spence did not enroll in the clean boxing program when he was ranked number 3 by the WBC, and how almost 2 years later, up to this point, he still has not enrolled. But yet, all the other top welterweights are enrolled, and he constantly calls these guys out, wants to fight these guys, says he wants to be undisputed. I pointed out how that is not fair in the sport of boxing, or any sport. So, one day last week, I saw a video, can't remember if it was Shady Slim or Casual Boxing Talk, I'm not sure. But I saw a video where they claimed that Errol Spence's strength and conditioning coach was on a show, Trill Boxing, the Black Fight Fan TV. How he was on the show, and they were talking about Errol Spence and Nate Jones went on saying that Errol Spence had a drinking problem or whatever. All right. So my off day, Sunday, November 4, 2018. I thought I'd look up this video and see what the guy had to say. And I discovered that his strength and conditioning coach goes by the name Blu-ray. And that Blu-ray is on Instagram, and Blu-ray has a YouTube channel. Alright, he has uploaded some videos to YouTube. So I went to his YouTube. I was looking at some of his videos, looking at some of the things he had to say, and I thought about hitting him up in his comment section to ask him about Errol Spence and the clean boxing program. Why, if he is clean, has nothing to hide, why he would not enroll in random year-round drug testing as all the other top welterweights are doing. So it seemed as if he really wasn't responding, not much, not to everyone on his YouTube channel. So I thought that I would go to the guy's Instagram and send him a message, ask him about Errol Spence and the clean boxing program. So I did, and he sent a response, which I will read in a few minutes, in a second. And then afterwards, I thought about hitting up Derrick James on Instagram. Now, I've heard Derrick give out his Instagram numerous times on YouTube videos. I thought to hit him up a while back, but I said, you know what, I don't know, for some reason I was kind of like, you know what, I'll let Derrick, kind of stay to himself, not bother the guy, and I'll, stay in my lane to myself, because, yes, I've been one of his toughest critics, if not his toughest critic. And, I'm not the type to go online and, hassle people and, people that I'm not necessarily a fan of to, go on, send them messages, run them down, troll them, all that kind of stuff. That's not my style. All right, but while I was in the information seeking process, I said, you know what? I said, we need to go ahead and reach out to Derrick, and we need to maybe put this to bed once and for all. So I did, and Derrick responded. Derrick and I had a conversation that it lasted from Sunday night, November 4, 2018, through Monday evening, November 5th, 2018. Now, it went that long because, of course, you know, we needed to get sleep, and it was, I had to work and all those kind of things. And Derrick was doing whatever he was doing. So it was not a live back and forth. It went over a span of nearly 24 hours or so. All right, but I have come to the conclusion that from Errol Spence's strength and conditioning coach and Errol Spence's trainer, that these guys do not want any part of random blood and urine testing year-round, signed up for a fight or not, in competition. They do not want a part of this type of testing until it is absolutely necessary, until it is absolutely required to do so. I have been saying this in videos for, I don't know, probably over a year. That's what I felt was the case. That these guys did not want any part of the clean boxing program or a random year-round drug testing in and out of competition, which is the same as the fair boxing program with the WBA and BATA. These guys do not want this type of testing until it is absolutely necessary. Now, when he was ranked by the WBC, it was required and mandated at that time, and he did not do it. So, my opinion, my feeling is that they do not want to do this testing until they can secure a WBC title fight, because at that point it would be a WBC sanctioned bout, and it would be required that he is enrolled in that program at least 90 days before that fight. That's the WBC rule. You have to be enrolled if you participate in WBC sanctioned fights. You have to be enrolled for 90 days before that sanctioned fight. All right. Now, it is not my intention to come on here and run Derrick down, to call him names. Nothing like that. Not to be disrespectful towards the guy. It's not my intention. He actually gained some respect from me for engaging in this conversation, for having the back and forth with me. He did gain respect. So it's not my intention to come on and to run the guy down, to disrespect the guy, call him names. That's not what I'm doing. I'm doing this video for the people who have been following me on this issue for over a year, for nearly 2 years, and also for the sport of boxing. I personally consider myself to be a steward of the sport. I want the best for the sport as a whole, for the fans, and for the fighters. So I'm doing this video to release the information to the public, to fans and fighters, so everybody can have the information and they can have their own informed decision, as to why they feel the way they feel on this issue. For any boxer who may be considering stepping in the ring with Errol Spence, I feel that they need to know this information. And I've tried to, give this information to these guys, the Terrence Crawfords, the Keith Thurmans, the Danny Garcias, the Sean Porters, all the guys in the top of the division that could fight Errol Spence. All right, and as I always say, and nobody has ever heard me go on video and say that Errol Spence is doing performance-enhancing drugs, steroids. You've never heard that come out of my mouth. Never. I have simply pointed out the facts about him in the clean boxing program, how he did not enroll, how he is not enrolled. Nothing but the facts. Anything that I've said, I've backed up with evidence, links that anybody could go to and see for themselves. And having said that, let me say this. Because these were Instagram conversations, I cannot post links in the comment section for people to see the conversation, and it is not usually my style. It's not my style at all to to post or publicly talk about private conversations. But I just explained why I'm talking about these conversations. And because there will be people out there who say that, oh, he's making it up. He's lying. He didn't talk to Derrick James. He didn't talk to Blu-ray. He's making it up. You can't trust him. You can't believe him. For people like that, I have to show that this conversation actually happened. And then no one can say that the conversation did not happen. So at the end of this video, you will be able to see the conversations for yourself and see that it is true. Once again, providing proof for what I'm saying. Nobody can say that I made up these conversations. Nor can Blu-ray or Derrick James say that I misrepresented them. All right. Now let's begin. All right. The first conversation was with Blu-ray. His Instagram is Blu-ray Fitness. This was Sunday, November 4th, 2018 at 7:50 p.m. This was the message that I sent to Blu-ray. All right. What's up, coach? I have a question. If Errol Spence doesn't take any vitamins, steroids, or performance-enhancing drugs, why won't he enroll in the Nevada Clean Busting program to subject himself to random year-round testing? Now, I had the statement this way, the question this way, because Blu-ray and Derrick James has also said that Errol Spence doesn't even take vitamins. So I wanted to lay it all out. If the guy doesn't do any of those things, why won't he enroll in this free drug testing program that is required by a sanctioning body that he wants to be champion in? A sanctioning body with Sean Porter as the champ who he wants to fight. All right. Now this was Blu-ray's response. When it's time for him to get the WBC, he will believe it. He has never failed a drug test and he gets tested all the time. Please don't believe the nonsense. Be blessed. All right. Now, I don't know if it was because the guy actually responded or because the guy was respectful in what he said. Or maybe it was because he said be blessed at the end. I don't know, but once I saw that, I said, you know what? I said, the guy answered my question. And that's it. I'm not going to ask the guy any more questions. Not going to harass the guy. Not going to inconvenience the guy. For some reason, I saw that answer, and that was it. This isn't a guy that's constantly been around, who's been on the radar, who's, been in interviews, asking questions. The guy said that, he really does not even work with Errol between fights. Nor does he do a meal plan for Errol Spence. So I said, you know what? I said, that was it. According to Blu-ray, that he won't, or he's not going to do it until he fights for the WBC title. And let me say it again. When it's time for him to get the WBC, he will believe it. All right. So according to Blu-ray, Errol will enroll in the Clean Boston program when it's time for him to fight for the title. All right. Now, let's go to Derrick James. All right. This is, the main subject of the video, and I'm pretty sure what most of you are intrigued about. All right. I had to give some thought as to if I wanted to message Derrick James. Because I've been critical of the guy, and it's not my style to go on and and harass people or troll people or however you want to see it. People that I'm not necessarily a fan of or supportive of. All right, but that was not my intention. I wanted to have a serious conversation with Derrick about Errol and the Clean Boxing program. I wanted to get to the bottom of the situation. All right, and I feel that I have. All right, so Sunday, November 4th, 2018, Sunday at 8:39 p.m. I sent Derrick a message. All right, this was the message that I sent Derrick, word for word. All right. Hey Derrick, when is Errol gonna enroll in the clean boxing program? That's all I said. Let me repeat. Hey Derrick, when is Errol gonna enroll in the clean boxing program? Now, I thought that was a standard soft question. I didn't think that was me being hateful, evil, demonstrative, pointing my finger, shouting at the guy, accusing him of being a liar or a cheater, accusing Errol Spence of being a liar or a cheater. Nothing like that. It was a standard basic question. I felt that hell, I could be that could have been from an Errol Spence supporter who has seen such videos online talking about Errol in the clean boxing program and accusing Errol of things. It could have been a fan who, a supporter of theirs who went on and asked Derrick about Errol Spence and when he would enroll in the clean boxing program. A standard question. All right, now, how did Derrick respond? All right, let me read you word for word what he said. Don't ask me no stupid crap like that. He was #1 in the U.S. for 4 years. He has always been drug tested by USADA. Every fight he has, they test him for drugs, just as they do everyone on this level. He pays for his own VADA drug test himself. That is a WBC thing. He said when we fight, I think he meant when he fights. When he fights for that title, he will have to do their thing. Every fight since I have trained him for, he has. I'm reading it exactly as he typed it now. So if I'm reading it kind of weird or kind of messed up, it's because I'm reading the word for word what he says. I might try to clean it up as I read it. All right, every fight since I have trained him. Well, I'm sorry. Let me go back. When we fights for that title, he will have to do their thing. Every fight since I have trained him for, he has drug tested for the last 10 years. Believe this stupid theories all you want. All right, now let me go through Derrick's statement. All right, because I want to be clear as to my criticisms, and people might say, "Oh well, Derrick, told me or whatever." I want to be clear as to why I have criticized these guys. All right, first off, he responded by saying, "Don't ask me no stupid crap like that." I didn't think that was necessary. It is not stupid to talk about drug testing in boxing, especially random year-round blood and urine drug testing. That is something for the betterment of the sport, something for the betterment of all the participants in the sport and the fans. To ensure that we see clean fights, not fights where one guy can cheat, or one guy can cheat and the other guy cannot. That is my main position and stance on this, and why I'm taking this stance. All right. I did not use any word like stupid with Derrick, but that's how he came at me. All right. He was #1 in the U.S. for 4 years. He has always been drug tested by USADA. All right. Well, I did a video. Errol Spence USADA testing exposed. It went through Errol Spence's USADA testing history. According to USADA's own website, the testing history. We saw a period of years where Errol was not doing any testing. He has only done USADA testing for a handful of his pro fights, and he has been a pro for nearly 6 years at this point. So there you go. Every fight they test him for drugs just as they do everyone on this level. All right, he's talking about state commission tests. Not every test in the pros is random blood and urine year round or for a period of weeks. Not unless somebody hires USADA or VADA to test them for a period of weeks leading up to fights. State commission tests. They may do only tests right before the fight. Not weeks leading up to the fight. So not everyone does that style of testing. All right. He pays for his own VADA drug test himself. He's talking about USADA. Again, USADA said that they won't accept money from an individual athlete for testing. So, it must be the promoter paying for it, for testing for that event, for that fight. All right. That is a WBC thing. When he fights for that title, we'll do their thing. All right. So again, there it is right there. Derrick confirms, that that they don't want to, and they won't enroll in the clean boxing program until Errol Spence fights for the WBC title. All right, confirmed by Derrick James himself. All right. Let's see. Every fight since I've trained him for, he has drug tested for the last 10 years. All right. That would be mainly commission tests when he was not doing USADA testing as a pro. All right, because there have been more fights in the pros where he has not done USADA testing to where he did do USADA testing. All right. Now, this was my response to Derrick. All right. Now, as you all know, I am pushing for all the top guys in boxing, all the champions, all top 15, the 4 major sanctioning bodies, all weight classes. No excuse for any name, all of them. I want them all subject to some form of random year-round drug testing. All right. And the clean boxing program is free. Anyone can enroll in that. All right. And UK anti-doping, they are out. Only the clean boxing program, which anybody can enroll in with the WBC, or the fair boxing program with the WBA and VADA, top 15 and champions, WBA. Those are the only programs I'm considering giving credibility to. All right. Now, this was my response to Derrick. It's a free program and a WBC requirement. They dropped him from the rankings for failure to enroll. They are going to give him a title shot without being enrolled. Why not go ahead and enroll to prove he's clean and has nothing to hide? All the other top welterweights are enrolled. It will silence the critics and make you guys look good. I think I'm being respectful. I'm not accusing them of being cheaters. I'm actually trying to show Derrick the light. I'm trying to help Derrick. To be beneficial to Derrick, to show him the light. To help him out against critics like myself, like Casual Boxing Talk, like Shady Slim, and others out there. Fans that you see in comment sections. Being critical of Derrick James and Errol Spence and his drug testing. I'm trying to do what's best for the sport, not some angry agenda by an angry fan. That's not what this was. This was for the betterment of the sport. Errol Spence's opponents and his fans. All the fans in boxing. All right. Now, this was Derrick's response. Do you work for the WBC? He proved that he has been clean for the past 10 years, that I have trained him by the tests that he takes all the time. First of all, nobody but people who don't know better believes that BS. All right? This was my response. No, I don't work for the WBC. I'm just a smart boxing fan who cares about the well-being of the sport and its fighters. I have to call it like it is. I'm not saying Errol is cheating or doing anything wrong, but let's look at the facts. The WBC ranked him almost 2 years ago, and he didn't enroll. Earlier this year, they released a statement with his name on it for failure to enroll. He's the only top welterweight not subjected to random year-round testing, and he's on a long KO streak, knocking out a lot of guys for the first time in their careers. Now, having said that, with the suspicion on him, why not enroll in a free, required drug testing program if he is clean and has nothing to hide? He will then do what others are doing and silence the critics. Everything I'm saying makes all the sense in the world. Nothing but facts. I'm not harassing the guy in any way. And I'm telling him that if Errol enrolls, the hell he will silence me. All right, now I continued. All right, I had to send this in 3 separate messages because it was so long. All right, the type of testing he's doing now is not the same as the clean boxing program. He knows the testing period for current testing. That's true. He's having these long layoffs between fights. The USADA testing does not begin until he signs on for that testing. So he knows the testing period with USADA. If not saying he was, but if he was doing something wrong, he would know the period to where he could cycle off and test clean with USADA. That's just facts. All right. And state commission tests. He knows when those tests are coming. Testing period, in the weeks leading up to that fight. Possibly just days before that fight. So, point that out to Derrick. He knows the testing period for current testing. He has long layoffs between fights. And let's be honest. Being blunt with Derrick. It's a period of time where someone could cheat and cycle off. Not saying that's what he's doing, but that's how people can look at it. Enrolling in the clean boxing program shouldn't be a problem. It would help you guys. All right. In that statement, I did not accuse Errol of being a cheater. Nothing like that. I just pointed out the facts to Derrick. All right. And how it would be beneficial to enroll in a free drug testing program that's required by a sanctioning body that they want to fight in and be champion in. All right. This was Derrick's response. He was never ranked in the WBC. Never. Let me repeat. He was never ranked in the WBC. Never. That was Derrick's exact words. I spoke to Mauricio as to why they never ranked him. This program started a year ago. All right. There's 2 things. Now maybe he did speak to Mauricio. I don't know why Mauricio would say that they didn't rank him. I cannot say whether he spoke to Mauricio or not. But yes, he was ranked, and the program started well over a year ago. I think we all know this, especially people who have been following this channel, because I've been talking about this for nearly 2 years. All right. So, I got this message from Derrick while I was working. At this point, I felt a bit of sadness and disappointment, man, because it just seemed to be no hope. Derrick was just flat out saying things that were not true. He had dug his heels in deep, and was not going to budge on this issue. At this point, I was ready to wave the white flag. Basically, conversation over. You guys are stubborn. You guys are avoiding this testing. Do not want any part of this testing for some reason. I could let it go at this point, but I wanted to show Derrick that what he was saying was not true, and that I knew better. All right, so what did I do? I sent Derrick some links. All right, and I want to be as official as possible. All right, with the first link I sent, I said the clean boxing program started in 2015, as it says on the WBC website. I wanted to send him official links, WBC links. WBCboxing.com, and you will see the link that I sent. At the end of this video. All right. The next message I sent, article from the boxing scene, where it shows Errol was ranked number 3 in January 2017. They ordered an eliminator between him and Tim Bradley for a title shot. All right, and then I sent the link to that article from Boxing Scene. All right, as we all know, Boxing Scene may be the most credible boxing website, news website on the internet. All right, a site that everyone uses. All right, okay, and next, the next link I sent, list of boxers on the WBC's website who were removed from the rankings for failure to enroll in the clean boxing program. Released April 2018. Errol is on the list. Again, WBCboxing.com, and I submit the link, which you will see. All right, and that is the list that lots of others have referenced. That Errol Spence did not enroll. Um, that he had been removed from the rankings. They put everybody who had been removed from the rankings since the program has been started. And Manny Pacquiao was on the list also. All right. Manny Pacquiao, currently WBA champion, so he is subjected to their testing with the fair boxing program. All right. That's why I cannot criticize Manny at this point. Yeah, even Manny is subjected to a random blood urine testing program. Is the WBA enforcing it on him? I don't know. Is VADA testing him between fights? I don't know. But he is supposed to be subjected to that form of testing with the fair boxing program. All right. If not, then the WBA is doing something very unfair and very wrong. All right. Now, I said to Derrick, these are reasons people are suspicious. If he enrolls, no one can say anything. All right. Now, this was Derrick's final message to me. All right, because after this message, I was done. All right. Quote, he was taught how to punch correctly. Physics, punching with your whole body. At this point, I'm rolling my eyes. I don't care what people think. He has never tested dirty. This is something that people who don't understand how to rotate your body into the punches. I never criticized that. All right. It's crazy for me to even be having this conversation. When he fights for that title, he will take their test. When you are a champ in another sanctioning body, you don't abide the WBC rules. All right. Again, at that point, I was done. I had seen all I needed to see. And, he was not going to budge on his position, nor was I going to budge on mine. So it meant there was no sense to continuing. All right. I saw all I needed to see, that these guys' heels are dug in. They're not going to move on this issue. When you are a champ in another sanctioning body, you don't abide the WBC rules. All right. But, Derrick, if you want to fight for the WBC title, you have to be enrolled in the clean boxing program. That's a fact. If you want to participate in a WBC sanctioned event, you have to be enrolled in their program. That's a fact. All right. And if Errol is clean, if he does nothing wrong, I don't see what the big problem is, with being enrolled in a drug testing program. I don't. I have never heard an athlete swear up and down that they were clean, that they didn't take vitamins or supplements, that all they do was eat food and drink water, and then be so hell bent on against enrolling or doing random year-round drug testing. I've never heard this, man. Everybody, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson was one that I heard say, I have no problem with testing, bring it on, because I know I'm clean. I know I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't take any supplements or nothing. I just eat food and drink water. People like this don't complain about testing, don't make excuses, don't talk about sanctioning bias, nothing like that. So at the end, I said, okay, thanks for the conversation, and responded. And that was it. Derrick did not respond. I didn't say anything else. And that was it. I'm going to let you guys, I've just presented the evidence. I'm going to let you guys decide for yourself, if you feel, how you feel about this situation, Me personally, if the guy's clean as nothing to hide, he should have been enrolled in that program when he was ranked by the WBC, and for 2 years he could have enrolled, and he still has not. To Terrence Crawford's, especially Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, all these guys. These guys better. If I'm these guys, man, WBC champion, I'm saying that this guy needs to enroll in this program for at least 6 months. Being that this guy needs to be enrolled at least 6 months before we could even have a conversation about signing up for a fight. That's the way I feel about it, man. WBC champion, he needs to be enrolled at least 6 months before we could even have a conversation, man, because Keith Thurman and Sean Porter both have been enrolled in the clean boxing program for hell, well over a year, I know, at least. And it's not fair to those guys, man. This guy only has to be enrolled in their program for 3 months while they be enrolled for, a long period of time. It's not right, man. And Terrence Crawford, Mike Garcia, all these guys on Errol Spence's radar, I say at least 4 months of testing, man, before fighting this guy leading up to the fight. If anything less than that, definitely no less than 3 months. And hell, at that point, I consider trying to get a hair sample, man. Makes no sense to me why this guy and his coach, why they so hell bent on not doing this form of testing, man, until it is absolutely necessary and required to do so. Because the way it is now, the guy can have a fight, have long layoff, nobody gonna show up to come test the guy, man. And he has to worry about no random blood and urine testing until he signs up for a fight and agrees to do so with USADA or VADA, whoever he hires to, or his promoter, whoever he hires to, test for that fight. So, that's it, guys. A long video, but these are the facts, man. This was a conversation between myself and Derrick James, and Blu-ray. You guys can let me know what you think, and I'm not going to influence anybody to think, but if people want to think Errol doing something or not, that's on them. I did not say the guy's doing anything. Let me be clear. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think, and I will check in with y'all soon. Thanks for watching.